And let us begin, my friends. Welcome to the shiny Darkrai hunt, my all-time favorite shiny. Took me a while to admit that, but I'm finally ready to say it. And I am your host, Nito Marquis, going into the trenches of New Moon Island, just for you guys. And if we're lucky, we're gonna see something only your nightmares can imagine. Purple Darkrai. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to the stream. If something happens, yeah, don't even bother with the stream. Trust me, there'll be its own video if something happens on this stream. Chad, how you doing? Chadon. Was it Chadon? Chadon? I don't remember how I said it the first time, but I believe I was right the first time. Maybe. All right. And that's set. We've got Zane in chat. We've got Magical Raven. Welcome. My mod, the one, the only, the magical one herself, Raven. Chadano. All right, I was going to say, I think I got it right the first time, so I botched it this time. Chadano, how you doing? Godlike Taters, who wants to be acknowledged as first in the chat. So that is a fact. It really was. Nonetheless, and I think you're the first like, too, because he popped up and then that popped up. So I was like, okay, so I'll give you both of those. And Sea Salt, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. All set and ready to go. I tested out this team in the last stream, so if I can get this thing in a dusk ball, we'll make that happen. Let me just pull up because I'm not an amateur, and I'm calling out so many streamers, man. I'm not an amateur. I count my moves. So, I'm going to pull up the notepad. I have all of Darkrai's moves. Hypnosis, Sucker Punch, Double Team, Foul Play. Terrible moveset. And it has 55 moves. So, 55 moves in, I know not to screw up. All right, quick audio check. Let me just double check the feedback of the stream really quickly. And it's a pleasure to have you all here tonight. I will go probably till about 8:30 or 2.5 hours. So, let me make sure that everything looks good before we begin. A bunch of you guys liked on the stream. Thank you so much for that. I am honored, truly. Those are not empty words. They never are. All right. I think we're good. Go ahead, set that. I will have one confession to make. I've got dinner over here. I did not eat it yet. It was way too hot, and I was like, okay, every time I cook, it takes longer than I anticipate. So, it's here. I will probably shut the mic off frequently and take a couple of bites. I never eat on the stream, or I should say on the mic. I never eat, like, right in front of the mic, so you guys don't have to worry about that. All right, let's do this. First reset, let us begin. We're going to go full screen, and then wait for it. Wait for it. I hope I do, too. This is the first legit, well, I can't say that. It's not that this is the first time I've gotten a legit Darkrai. This is the first time that I didn't blip, glitch, dark void glitch, whatever you want to call it, to get to Darkrai. So, that said, boom, look at that. The stream topic, my friends. Name a game you didn't finish. And, if you really want to say, why? A game that I did not finish was Biomutant. That was a very fresh game. It just came out maybe 6 months ago. Naya and I were playing that game casually, and we said that we got a little too wrapped up in forgetting the move sets and forgetting how to play the game and a few other features that I said, you know what, I'm just going to have to start this game over. Mia, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Kingdom Hearts 1. Thought it was difficult and it got boring. Didn't you request? Yeah, you must have gone back and finished it, right? I was gonna say, I thought you loved Kingdom Hearts. I was somewhat in the same pool, actually, for a little while. I did not enjoy Kingdom Hearts, the original, when it came out because I thought it was ridiculous. I as a Final Fantasy kid, I felt like, I don't know, it was offensive. I was like, dude, what are all my awesome, badass Final Fantasy characters doing here with a bunch of BS Disney characters like Goofy and Donald Duck? Man, this sucks. Don't worry, that opinion is not how I feel modern day. It's just how it was back in the day. Zane got a shiny Caterpie. Some call it Caterpie, some people call it Caterpie. Either way, you got one. Chidano says, Batman Arkham Knight. Wow. I have to deal with so many Riddler missions. Arkham Knight. I have not played it myself. I have a friend that played it, and I saw a lot of it, and it looked like a fantastic game. You could consider that partially backlogged. I have so much backlogged crap. It's at some point I'm gonna have to question, like, am I gonna get to all these games, or am I just gonna stop living someday and never know what the games were like? I seriously need to just take a whole bunch of vacation time and play nothing but video games. Forget these workouts and biking and enjoying the fresh air. No. I don't want to touch grass for like 3 weeks straight. Still haven't finished Kingdom Hearts 1. Definitely not my favorite Kingdom Hearts game. Although, admittedly, it's hard to say that because it is the first one. The first one usually gets a pass because, you know, they're still finding their way, if you will. Similar to Pokemon here. A lot of Gen 1 haters out there. It's like, well, what do you expect? It was the first one. Godlike Tater said you had to stop playing Kingdom Hearts. All I could do was stare at Sora's giant shoes and the Keyblade. And I was like, blah, make it stop. All right, well, you'll be happy to know, Godlike Taters, that Sora's big clown shoes are gone. They're getting rid of them. Kingdom Hearts 4 will no longer have giant clown shoes. I changed my opinion big time on Kingdom Hearts. Like I say, when I was young when that came out. Not super young. I was like, because if I was super young, I probably would have been happy to see Donald Duck and Goofy and Mickey, or, well, hoping to see Mickey Mouse. In fact, I want to say Mickey Mouse around that time got his own game. It was called Epic Mickey. So, like, they kind of split, you know. Kingdom Hearts went this way, had everybody except Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse had his own game, Epic Mickey. I do not know if the two are related. I don't think they are. I'm just thinking that from a developmental standpoint, they're probably like, hey, since we're not using Mickey in this game, why don't we give him his own game? I wonder how history looks upon that game, Epic Mickey. Never followed up to see if it's in the history books as a really good game. Sea Salt thinks so. But either way, so I didn't actually like Kingdom Hearts 1 when it came out. I really didn't. Now that it's not that I'm kind of neutral positive with Kingdom Hearts because I loved 2 and 1. But I did not like them as much as, let's say, a Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy 7, or, yeah, let's throw 6 in there too. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 were all around the same time and before. So I literally played, I want to say 8 was my first, then I played 7, then I played 10, and then I came back and got 9 and 6 later. But either way, it was all around the same time. So, of course, for me, I'm thinking Final Fantasy is like the top of the mountain. Kingdom Hearts is along the way. To this day, I'm still kind of in that opinion, is that I'm not really up there with Kingdom Hearts. Granted, I did not have a solo concentrated experience, but Kingdom Hearts to me was always like, if Final Fantasy is a 10 out of 10 on a score rank, Kingdom Hearts was an 8 to an 8.5, you know? But that said, I haven't played it in a long time, and there are about 6 games I need to get to. So, backlog. Look at all this chat I missed. Frisk, how are you doing? Howdy, howdy. Sea Salt says, I have the disc for Kingdom Hearts 3, though. I technically have all of them, because I bought the story so far, which I believe, as advertised, was everything. Even Chain of Memories. Everything except 3. And then I grab 3, and then I'll go on to 4, and if I ever get to this stuff. Trust me, Final Fantasy got backlogged too. I didn't mean for that to happen. But Final Fantasy 15, sitting over there on the shelf, sealed copy. Speaking of sealed copy, Chidano wants to open their sealed copy of Kingdom Hearts 3, which mine's also in a sealed. Want to really know one that hurts, guys? Here's the one that's going to sting. Breath of the Wild. Sealed copy. I have not opened it. Mia says, I'm trying to beat Agent 3 in the Octo expansion after you beat the telephone. It's so hard. I don't know. I don't remember the agents really well because before Splatoon 3 comes out, I have to play the Octo expansion. I know nothing about it, and I want to catch myself up on the lore, which may or may not include manga. I love the ideas that go in my head. About a quarter of them actually happen. Godlike Tater says, but at least Donald Duck sounds adorable, but refuses to heal you. Yeah, he's an adorable prick. And then that boy Zane says, do you know what I got? What do you got? A case of hay fever, winning lottery numbers, a baby chicken that you found outside. Tell me if any of these are getting close. Finally got 50 subs. You know what's weird is I will congratulate you on that, my friend. That means that you're obviously doing something correctly, because in my mind, subscriptions are both an indicator of yes and no of are you doing something right to an extent. I look back at it now and I'm like, you know, I remember when I celebrated 10. And to me, I've never been popular. My opinions are always way against the grain. But to see that I'm actually even over the 1K mark sometimes, which was my only subscriber goal. That's all I had. I am true to myself, no matter, even if I hit 100K someday. At the end of the day, 1K was my only subscriber goal. That's why you don't see it on the overlay, like, what's the next goal? The next goal doesn't exist. You can't even subscribe, or I should say, you can't even, what are they, memberships? Crap, I can't even remember what they're calling them now, because they changed the name. When you're a member of a channel, I think is what it is, right? Can't even do that with me, because I've got nothing to offer for being like a member. I don't even have emotes for the chat. So I'm like, I don't even offer that. I'll be true to myself. 1K was, I remember talking about that all the time. I'd be like, you know, that's my only goal. Well, it's gone. It came and went. So now I'm like, huh, I don't have to talk about that anymore. Sweet. Agent 3 was the Splatoon 1 pro tag. Agent 4 was the Splatoon 2 pro tag. Okay. I just had to catch myself up because I didn't remember who's who. Agent 3 from Splatoon 1 becomes Captain. Yep. And then, so, oh, that's, okay. So then Agent 3 must be like a challenge mode. I remember seeing Kugarasi play a little bit of, because I popped into his stream at one point and it was like, he was playing something I hadn't seen yet, and I'm like, uh-oh, I'm gonna blind myself to this because I'm guessing this is the Octo expansion. All I remember was him not raging, but certainly taking an ass beating. A lot. It was pretty funny. But thanks for the refresher, because like I said, I'm gonna catch myself up on the lore before I go into Splatoon 3. Godlike Tater says, and you didn't cave and go to Twitch. Yeah, look at me. I didn't cave in, man. No, if they ever ban me on YouTube, I don't even think I'd pick things up on Twitch. I'd just go away. The only thing I wish is that maybe on Twitch, I'd kind of like to have clips that I have clipped out of my YouTube streams. I think you need to be affiliate to do that, and that requires streaming over there, so I can't do that. Or, well, I can, I choose not to. But either way, I wish I could at least put my clips over there so that people, because for some reason I have followers over on Twitch, and I'm like, hey, here's where you should go if you want to see me live. If you want to hang out and chat and have fun and play Smash and whatever, it's not here. So I wish I could convey that message, other than, obviously, I think it said something about, like, I don't stream on Twitch. Thank you for coming by. Go to YouTube, something like that. I got to start the Octo expansion. I got to start everything. I have not finished Pokemon Snap. I did not finish Legends Arceus. I haven't even touched Pokemon, and I haven't touched anything in a long time. I streamed Smash, and that was the only thing I did. I don't know. Life got in the way big time. So I got to finish Legends Arceus. I just wanted to record the final battle. I mean, I can't even get that done. I thought I would stream it and finish the Pokedex so I could go to the final battle, and that never happened, so I'm behind on freaking everything. Chadano says, I said that weird, Chadano says, without a doubt, Sephiroth at the end, I have no idea because I didn't see that part, and I'm guessing I should go look at it because I don't know what you're referencing. I watched the trailer, but I didn't see anything about Sephiroth. Also, I'm not sure I can take Sephiroth again in a Kingdom Hearts game. I don't know if you guys remember, but the Sephiroth battles are not pleasant experiences. Final Fantasy is always known for having super bosses. 8 was probably the apex, because 8 had Omega Weapon, absolute nightmare. By the way, I'm over here flexing. You can't see it because I'm a faceless voice. But I'm flexing because I actually beat Omega Weapon twice. I did it recently, and I did it when I was a kid. Oh, man, as a kid, it took about 100,000 tries. I don't know. I think it was more like 50. I think I actually did count. 7 had weapons, but they weren't nearly as powerful as Omega Weapon in 8. 9 had Ozma, which was also a colossal pain in the ass, but I don't think it was quite as bad as Omega Weapon. 10 and X2, those super bosses are absolute brutal nightmare monsters. Horrible, horrible, absolutely. And not only this, they have multiple super bosses. 7 had multiple super bosses, but I mean, 10 just, oh my god. 10 and X2 had some seriously nightmare super bosses. So that's why Sephiroth, I think, is in Kingdom Hearts, is because they said, you know what? We're going to put super boss in as well, and you're not going to see it coming, and it's going to be a nightmare. And I remember 1 being, like, crazy impossible. 2 is, like, minorly impossible. 2 can be done. 1 is a total pain. I don't think I ever beat 1, and I know I beat 2, and it was my friend's file, but it was not easy. But you can out-level and somewhat alleviate the pain of Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 2. So you can over-level to bring yourself back down to earth, if you will. Cannot do that in 1. You just gotta have some really good reflexes. Hey, Archo, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Archo says, I have spent the last 3 hours trying to beat Unalesca. Oh, you're talking regular Unalesca. Why does FFX have their... So it's really funny. I don't see enough people talk about that. Final Fantasy X, like every boss, unless you're over-leveling, every boss sucks. I mean, they are absolutely... I mean, you die to every boss on the first try every time. So it starts, I think, I would say Seymour. Seymour's where it starts getting bad. And then you fight Unalesca, which is absolutely a very brutal battle. Then Seymour Flux is an absolutely brutal battle. Jecht is not a very easy battle. I mean, Jecht maybe wasn't as bad as some of the others, but certainly Jecht was a tough one. Yeah, so the AMC, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Talking Final Fantasy X here. So one of the first things at 10 you have to do, you have to have haste on everybody. That goes for X2 as well. X2, so actually, I don't know. Well, the HD version thankfully included the international stuff. So X, I would say... When it comes to the super bosses, Omega Weapon is a freaking nightmare. Penance is like the absolute most difficult super boss that existed in the early 2000s. Penance is absolutely freaking nightmare. And I never beat Penance, by the way. I got whooped. So you have to max everything out. No spoilers. I did not realize you haven't beaten X yet, so we'll go ahead and no spoilers on that. So then I won't tell you what's coming up after that. Penance has like... Penance is absolutely a total brutal nightmare. And no, I never cheese my super bosses. No using the end on Omega Weapon, any of that, you know, in 8. Ozma actually didn't have it. I don't think there was a way to cheese Ozma, but still, no cheesing stuff. Penance is absolutely, when it comes to super bosses, that might be the worst one. But I'm gonna say X2. And I can't spoil where it comes from, but there's something worse than Omega Weapon. And that is it's a totally brutal, absolute nightmare, just like Penance. Also, I hated that stupid... So, the Chocobo thing, and I got the Chocobo thing. I got the achievement. It's on my PS4 to prove it. Chocobo license. But I'm trying to think. There was one that was absolutely brutal. Also, what's really weird is that Yuna's ultimate weapon, to get the Moon Sigil, you have to know to get it within like the first 10 minutes of the game. It's really weird. If you miss it, that's it, I believe. I don't think you ever get a chance to go get it again. Because you can't run and swim out into the ocean anymore, which means you can't swim around the cove and get it. Like, all right, Archo. Hopefully we didn't spoil anything for you. I did not realize you hadn't finished FFX. X2, not gonna lie. I'm gonna put it out there, and I will defend this till I die. X2 is like the perfect sequel. So anybody out there that plays Final Fantasy, I said it, and I'm sticking to it. FFX2, perfect sequel. All right, let me check a couple things here. Also, I might shut the mic off for a sec here as I am continuing to ramble because I'm going to take a bite of that food that I told you I made, but it was too hot. I could not consume it. Thank you so much, guys. I just saw a couple likes pop up on the stream. Normally, I don't go on, I should explain. I don't know why I've never explained this. I don't go on, like, victory parties for the number of likes I get, but I would like to thank you live when you do that. That's why I do that. I feel like I can't just see it and be like, oh, cool. I actually do feel like I need to thank you guys for that, and I hope that comes across as that way, not like, I don't know, some of these YouTube comments where it's like, oh, my God, thank you for all the likes. I would like to thank the Academy, and no. Do I play Roblox? I do not. But fun fact I found out, did you know, well, I'm sure you do, if you play Roblox anyways, Roblox is actually older than Minecraft. I did not know that. So Roblox is really the first open world, build your own world environment game. Give me one sec. Well, actually, wait. I'll take a bite of food, but I'm going to do it after Darkrai's off the screen. I'm not spitting up a bunch of Spanish rice and chicken just because something spawns shiny while I'm not paying attention. Alright, sorry. Took a bite of my dinner. Takes a lot longer to chew it than I thought, but it came out great. I was right around 1,000 encounters with Darkrai when I stopped hunting him last time. And I based that off of 5 hours. Or how much did I say? Well, wait, I gotta do the math. Why did I not record this down on this? Yeah, usually I put the time, but I'm saying it's about 100 encounters, give or take, 120 tops per hour. So yeah, about 10 hours. So probably a little under 10 hours. So I'm about 10 hours in. I shall, Raven. It is a Spanish rice. I put a little bit of paprika on. And then I took shredded chicken and threw it in there. And I accompanied that with a baked potato. That is what I call an awesome dinner. Easy to make, too. Oh, I chopped little cherry tomatoes, too. I found some cherry tomatoes at the market. So, chopped up cherry tomatoes, boiled them in with the rice. Boil them just enough to the point where there's just a little moisture left, and then the tomatoes kind of dry out just a touch. It's perfect. Darkrai, you seem like you're supposed to be taller. And if you guys have not started the Darkrai event, I do caution you that Darkrai's letter, or the letter to get, or no, not Oak's letter, sorry, I'm thinking whatever item you get for Darkrai, I can't remember now. Whatever the event item is, let me take a look at it really quickly. Either way, that is only available, the item, not Darkrai, the item is available via mystery gift until the end of the month. So you got about 16 more days. After that, I would assume they're going to drop the event again, but it's probably not going to be for a while. I don't know why they're doing that anyways. Well, actually, you know what? That'd be kind of cool. If they drop the event every single new moon, that'd be kind of cool. So is the member card. So you can't get the member card after April 30th. So make sure you get it if you haven't. And that is my good deed for the day. All right, set that down. But games that I have not finished, I'm trying to think other than Biomutant. Let me go through my head and see what I haven't finished. Pokemon Snap is a game that I'm in no particular rush to finish, so that one I'm not counting, but yeah, it's not done technically. And then a game I started would be... Trying to think if there's anything... No Final Fantasies. Trying to think of a game that I would have started and then dropped halfway through. Shadow Hearts. Shadow Hearts has been kind of stalled out for a little while. Love the game. Absolutely love the game, but I haven't been able to play it with Naya in quite a while. Not to mention we had to acquire a new disc because it fried, so that was a thing. Older games is probably the ones that I haven't finished. If there's anything that I dropped and then forgot about, which if I forgot about it, I wouldn't know it right now. But it would probably be in like the PS2 GameCube era. Yeah, I'm looking on the shelf. I don't see anything I can recall. So technically that means the only one I can really name right now, other than Shadow Hearts, which I plan to get back to, and Pokemon Snap, the only two that I really like, or the only game that I've really dropped and haven't come back to and plan to, just not immediately, is Biomutant. Darkrai. Sea Salt says, I dropped Sackboy A Big Adventure only because I played it with my sister and it's not that fun without her. I did play Little Big Planet, and it was really fun doing the two-person or the two-player mode. That's an excellent multiplayer game. Cutscenes ended. Hey, welcome back, Archo. First time Final Fantasy X. You know, there are games that I wish I could wipe out of my brain altogether, not remember any of it. Final Fantasy X would be one of them for sure. Final Fantasy VIII would be one of them. Wish I could go back to having never played that game. Same with Uncharted, especially 4. Uncharted 4, I would love to erase my memory of that game. Until Dawn is another one that's sitting over here on the shelf. I would love to erase my memory of playing that game. I would love to have that experience of playing the game for the first time again. Sea Salt says, I had every LBP game. I lost LBP 2. Let me see here. LBP. Let me see if I can work out what that is in my brain. LBP. All right, well, let's see if Google has any answers for me. Oh, it's Little Big Planet. I just mentioned it. But, number 1, Little Big Planet 1. Did I play that? I'm going to say no. That was on PS3, I think. I don't think I ever played that. I played 2, though, for sure. Chadano says, I want to erase my memory of all the Marvel Spider-Man games. Someday, hopefully, that tech exists so that I can just wipe out my memory of that game in particular, of any game, I should say, and play it again for the first time. Uncharted 4 was probably, I mean, I give that game a 10 out of 10. And Uncharted 4, I remember I was glued to it. I was absolutely glued to it till like 3 in the morning when I had to get up at 5:30, somewhere in there, to go to work. I was like, oh my god, I gotta put this game down. But I literally couldn't bring myself to do it. Oh, Mario Odyssey was fantastic. Best Mario game ever. I mean, top tier. That was such a good game. JL, my friend, welcome to the stream. We are at, I guess I'm at about, well, I was at 1,000 before the start of the stream, so let me see how long I've been live. I started at 6, so probably at about 1,050-ish. Sea Salt says, I played all the Little Big Planet games, but overplayed 2 until I moved. I want to play it again eventually. 2 was really, really, really good. It was a really fun game, very unique, and just overall really, really cool. I'm trying to remember, though. I remember beating it, but I don't remember what the ending was. May have even had some DLC, I think. Yeah, it had DLC, didn't it? I think so. I'm going to take a bite of my dinner. Give me one sec. I'm way over here. You just can't hear me chewing. All right, I'm good. Well, let's do this. I think I have finally decided in terms of games that I'm going to play for the first time. I said I was thinking about it heavily. I'm going to commit this to my memory that Final Fantasy VII, the remake, I promise, I officially have staked the claim. I will, unless it's something ridiculous, I am not going to play that until it's finished. So all 3 remakes. Once they're all out, that's when I'm going to do it. 1, 2, 3, one after another. Now that is going to be one hell of a ride. That boy Zane says, Nino. I say, what's up? What's my favorite part of Mario Odyssey? I loved going back to Mushroom Kingdom. I definitely love that. I loved the desert level. Was totally cool. That was so cool. And I came back, and I came back again, and I came back again. I mean, the whole game, the beach level. I mean, it was just all so freaking fun. It almost felt like it was just huge. The worlds were massive. It was great. It was literally just like Mario 64, except 10 times as big. You just got a shiny? What'd you get? You got a shiny Charmander? Look at that. Congrats to Zane in chat for the shiny Charmander while I am live. That's amazing. Oh, Chadano. Jeez. You just reminded me of a game I never wanted to have backlogged. You know what? This is gonna have to get played soon. Star Wars Fallen Order? They're blending. Yeah, Fallen Order, that's the one. I had to check. Fallen Order, I have not gotten to it. It's still sitting over there, and I said, oh, I would totally get to this. And I have not gotten to it, man. There's also a few other games over there. Sunken City is over there. Yeah, I still haven't played that. Too many games that I haven't played, man. I need half a year to myself. Half a year where I can just say I'm not going to work, but don't take my job away. Just let me go on a sabbatical so I can play all these video games. All right, let me pull this chat back up here. Judah, my friend, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Says, can you give me a shout out? Sure. What's up? How you doing? Mia says, a few weeks ago, I caught my shiny Darkrai but forgot the Master Ball. I thought about going for it. I really did. I thought about going for it with a Master Ball, like I did back in the day. I think I'm going for that Dusk Ball. Archa says, I have the summer to play. Man, I want my summers back. Hope you get the Darkrai. My friend, I am getting that Darkrai one way or another. I just hope it's in front of all of you. Yeah, that was the only... Because I remember... I did the same thing then that I didn't... No, wait a minute. No, I didn't. No, I did not. I take it back. I was going to say I didn't use the Master Ball until I had all the other shinies. But that's not true. The last one I got was Arceus because I had to use less than conventional means to get the Aether Flute in Diamond. Yeah. Thanks, Pokemon. Either way, so... I remember that was the only one that was really high risk because I caught Dialga, I caught Giratina, Heatran, never got Cresselia, of course, but Cresselia is no risk if it ever shines. It's been 15 years. So I got Heatran, didn't hunt the Lake Spirits in the first playthrough, but I did come back later and do that. Azelf has a gorgeous shiny. The other two, not so much. To me, anyways. Archo says, I got a strat for shinies. EV train Garchomp with false swipe. I had a few false swipers. Of course, now I'm realizing I really don't have to EV train. I mean, I guess if I really wanted to be really sure that I wasn't going to botch something, I would EV train and max out to level 100 my team. But honestly, I have yet to fail any shinies. Even Giratina was like I don't know, maybe 7 Pokeballs or 7 Dusk Balls. So I've just kind of gotten better with this idea of just like going in with half a team, you know? Or I should say a half-built team. How about that? Am I still going to shiny hunt Cresselia? Well, I can't in this game. But I am always coming back. For the last 15 years, I've been coming back and coming back and coming back again to Cresselia on the original Diamond. And that hunt I will always come back to. And even though it's probably over 100,000 encounters at this point and like 1,000 hours of my life, I will keep coming back to it until that thing freaking shines. This one, I did not realize you have to give up your Cresselia encounter, which means I have one chance to get it because I've already released it out into the wild. By the way, what a kick in the jaw that would be by life if 100,000 resets wasn't enough in Diamond to find a shiny Cresselia. And then by accident, the first one I release to get to Darkrai in Brilliant Diamond ends up being full odds shiny. Oh man, kick in the jaw that would be. But either way, I will not be shiny hunting Cresselia in this game unless I start a new profile. Which, you know, I did want to do a Nuzlocke, but at the same time with Scarlet Violet right around the corner at this point, it's the end of the year. Pokemon Black is actually my big target right now for getting a recorded series done. Archo says, I honestly don't like having shinies that aren't mine. It feels wrong to me. I was the opposite for all those years. I was the guy that gave out shinies. I was the reason my friends had shinies. Now everybody's got shinies. Being a shiny hunter is... First off, when I started shiny hunting on YouTube, I did not realize that I'm not alone. Like, I thought, oh, it'd be cool, man. I'm a shiny hunter. You know, there's not many of us out there. Well, it turns out that shiny hunting went mainstream while I was away. When I was shiny hunting back in the day, I was the only one I knew. And I was the only person that had shinies. The only time anybody would be like, oh my god, I've got a shiny. It was a full odds this, you know, it happened here, da-da-da-da-da. And I had the entire dex shiny, basically, with the exception of maybe 20 species. And I was giving them out, and my friends, it was so cool. I remember I gave out Pichu as a graduation gift. Kyogre, my really, really good friend, she has my Darkrai, she has my Kyogre. She loved pink shinies, so she had multiple Sneasels I gave her. I was always the guy giving them out. Now everybody's giving them out because people got way too many. Everybody's got too many shinies. 90% of them are hacked. Back in the day, only about 20% of them were hacked. You could buy a cartridge on eBay that already had it preloaded with everything shiny. So people would either do that or they'd just get an action replay. Nowadays, YouTubers make money literally giving out hacked shinies. I'd punch them in the mouth. Yes, I'm condoning violence. My bad. I'm sorry, people. It turns out I'm kind of a violent fellow. I don't mean to be, but, you know. Either way, I'd punch them in the jaw if I could, because what a scummy way to make your career on YouTube, right? But, yeah, people are giving them out all the time. They're sending them out by the dozens on Wonder Trades, so shinies are almost not even special at this point. So for me, it's like, well, the only way it's going to be special is if I hunt it myself. So. All mine are hacked. Got them in surprise trades. Yep, JL, you know how it is. You can go onto a surprise trade or a Wonder Trade, and you can have a whole box of shinies in an hour. Not even. Then there's you who got 2 in a day. I don't know if I've ever remembered me getting... Well, okay, I guess Legends Arceus, I finally did it. I got my back-to-back, but actually it was 3 in one day. Pokemon Let's Go, 3 in one day, all in the same stream. And then Heatmore and Nidoran in Sword, both full odds, both in the same day. That was pretty wild. And then I'm trying to go back in my mind because all these shiny hunts have pretty much blurred. So, and then 16 Larvitar, that counts. Actually, that wasn't in the same day though. That was over 3 days. Let's see. Did I ever get 2 shinies in one day, full-blown odds other than that. So it happened in Sword, and that's about it. I guess technically Chingling and Sneasel I got in the same day. I remember that hunt because Chingling was an accident while I was on my way to Sneasel, so that was full odds. And then Sneasel came not at full odds, but like 5 radar chains in. It was like instant. And then I kept going, and I caught probably about 4 from my friend who likes the pink shinies. JL says, at this point, I prefer collecting internationals. They're more valuable for people who like breeding. Thanks to me hatching about 50,000 eggs in my life, I'm pretty much done with breeding. Masuda method is pretty much out the door for me because I can't stare at another egg and sit there and hatch eggs. There's no shiny hunting method other than Masuda method that I despise. Every shiny hunting method, I'm like, oh yeah, this will be a cool hunt. This is unique. This is different. Masuda, I'm like, dude, I can't hatch any more eggs. I spent way too much time in my life hatching eggs for competitive and shiny hunting. No more. Can't do it. Done. Archo says, I'm replaying Pearl with my original Diamond team, and I'm going to shiny hunt every legendary once I beat the game. That's pretty much what I ended up doing. It wasn't in one playthrough. I want to say... Why did I released the Lake Spirits? Or no, I caught the Lake Spirits. I did that for a reason. I don't remember what that reason was now. What was that reason? There was a reason. I'm trying to think. A Pokemon you need to have the Lake Spirits already done. No, I know what it was for. The National Dex. So that's why I did it the first time. I skipped out on them and then came back later in a different game. That's why I did that. I did that with this game too, actually. I skipped out on the Lake Trio so I could get the National Dex. And you need that in order to catch everything except Darkrai, technically. You can, in the originals anyways, you can do a blip, or rather not a blip, the Dark Void glitch. And then you don't need the National Dex, you just need luck. And very, very precise hands that don't shake. Dark Void glitch sucked. It was not a pleasant experience. Am I going to do Friday night stream tomorrow? Possibly. Possibly. I could do Friday night Smash. If I do it, I'm off work, so I can actually do it earlier than normal. Maybe start at 3 o'clock. But I got to see, because I'm going out of town to see my parents. I don't know if I'm leaving Friday or Saturday. I haven't decided yet. If I leave Friday, I can be there, and I'll already be there Saturday morning and Sunday and such. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. If I don't go, then I will certainly play Friday Night Smash and Splatoon. Splatoon, you are correct. Same thing. I want to get Splatoon back in the frequency I used to play it at. So I will throw Splatoon in there as well somewhere. For sure. Because those two games are absolutely a blast to play every single time. And man, did I just kill it on the last Splatoon stream. I actually look back at that, and I'm like, wow, the noob that, like, got splatted probably 10 times a match, somehow this guy knows how to play. I'm like, I can't believe that. I didn't even think, I never practiced. I never practiced aim exercises. I never even watched how to configure myself competitively. I don't even know the names of all the weapons. I don't have them all. Yet somehow, the last time I played, it looked like I knew what I was doing. It was amazing. It felt amazing. I'm like, wow, I finally actually improved at this game. It feels awesome. That noob with that face mask and that silver arrow spray, that guy's gone. I do still like my silver arrow spray. Although I find myself using the gold arrow spray a little more, but still. Arrow spray, whatever. I still use it. Mia says, it was hard when I did not know what to do because I didn't like playing Splatoon, only Splatoon 2. I'm in the same boat if I catch what you're saying. I never played Splatoon 1. Archo didn't either. So we're all in the same boat. I never played Splatoon 1. I would love to go back and do it because at some point I do intend to buy a Wii U. I never had the Wii U. I would love to at least have one just for the sake of having one and playing it, even though there's really not a lot of reason to do it. But I never played Splatoon 1, so 2 is when I was introduced to the series. Unlike Pokemon, where I can state that I've been there since the very first game came out, and I was one of the first competitive players, I was one of the first shiny hunters. Splatoon 2, I came in halfway through that series. I think Splatoon 2, my first time playing it, was right before the Sheldon update. So they did the Sheldon's Picks update. That was right after I started. That was when I started. So I was this franchise had been well established by the time I played it. Oh, you haven't played Splatoon at all, is what you were saying. I'm sorry. I thought you meant Splatoon 1. No, I absolutely love Splatoon. I thought it was going to be a game that I was like interested in, but I come back to it every now and then. I love it. Not only that, but the other part is Star Wars Battlefront's another game that I absolutely love and haven't streamed in a while. Mia says, yeah, I like playing Splatoon 2. It's always fun. Every time I have so much fun playing Splatoon. Like, I don't even know if there's anybody that can be angry. Well, there's just no way you can be in a bad mood while enjoying Splatoon. Archo says, it cut out, man. I didn't hear. Oh, did it? Did it cut out? I did not know the mic was cutting out. That's unfortunate. In other news, I figured out why my updates always fail. I don't know why my computer would not just tell me this, but I know finally why all my Windows updates fail. I'm out of space on my hard drive. I started emptying out some stuff. I have an external hard drive that I was using to store all of the old videos I have. Unfortunately, it doesn't talk to my computer nice anymore. Every time I plug it in, it freezes up, and I gotta unplug it, and then everything's fine. So what I've been doing is taking a USB drive and loading it up with as many videos as I can, getting them off my hard drive, taking them to work, and using that computer to transfer them to the external hard drive. I do not know why that problem is happening. The only thing I can assume is either I have a driver issue or something with that update. Or I should say something with the fact that I've missed several updates now has caused my external hard drive to no longer be able to communicate effectively with my my computer. Either way, hopefully anything like any blipping or anything with the mic, if there's anything that's going wrong, maybe getting this update finally installed after like months of missing updates, because they just every time I would do it, it would say undoing updates every time I would try to update. Maybe that'll fix something around here. Maybe, just maybe. You know, Archo's got fog. Oh, man, you got to watch out, man. 3 days of rain and then fog on the 4th day. And you know there's going to be a body that shows up. Name the game. I'll wait, because I'm going to take a bite of food. Archo knows what's up. without the mic on. Actually, you may not have heard what I just said. I think the mic had to reconnect for a sec. I turned it off because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to clear my throat with the mic on. Most shocking moment in a game for you. We're going to go with Final Fantasy VIII. So if anybody has not played Final Fantasy VIII or you would like to, and therefore, you know, I got a spoiler coming, just a heads up, you got 10 seconds. I'm going to give you 10 seconds so I don't spoil what the most shocking moment was. Final Fantasy VIII is the game. You got 10 seconds. Now you got 5 seconds to mute my mic for a sec or mute the stream. When Odin is summoned against Cypher on the Lunatic Pandora on Final Fantasy VIII, Odin charges towards Cypher, and Cypher cuts Odin down. And I was like, I was young, so I was like, oh, he's summoned Odin. Yeah, he's going to kill him. And then he cuts my GF in half. I'm like, oh, shit. Now what do I do? That was definitely the most shocking moment. I never, ever saw that coming. And I was like, I was so shook. I'm like, oh, my God, whoa. I'm not supposed to be fighting right now. That was a one-hit kill. You can't do that. How dare you use plot armor against me? And that's it. That was definitely... All right, hiccups, hold on. All right, I think I'm good now. Sorry. Had a little throat action going there for a sec. No, that was definitely the most shock. I never saw that coming. The culprit in Persona 5. I don't know in 5 who the culprit is. I know 4 who the culprit is. 4 was also a kind of a plot twist. I don't know 5 because I haven't finished it. It's on the backlog. Oh, Persona 5. Game I have started and not finished. First dungeon. Got through it. Never picked Persona 5 back up after that. What's bad about it is I own Persona 5. I do not intend to buy Persona 5 Royal because I have P5. However, I'm hearing that it's just a much better game, P5 Royal. Way better game is what I've heard. Or not just a better game, just more stuff. Way more stuff. The new true ending is so good. Ah, crap. I'm gonna have to buy it again, aren't I? Having the same game twice, sort of, is not something I enjoy doing, but I've not had a single person tell me not to buy Royal. Everybody I've ever talked to about Persona 5 has said buy P5 Royal. I'd probably get the physical copy. I've got all the other Personas physically. I figure I might as well have that one too. That, and maybe I might consider dumping Persona 5. It's still in plastic. The copy that I played was not mine. I bought it after the fact. So, Persona 5 is still over there. I haven't opened it. I want to say Persona 4 also had like a Persona 4 Gold or some special edition that came out that I never played. I think. Methinks. If memory serves right. In fact, I'm going to look that up. Frisk says, gonna head out. See y'all later. Thanks for the stream. Frisk, thank you for coming by. It was a pleasure to see you. I hope you have a wonderful night. I hope I can say, hey, here's my shiny Darkrai by tomorrow. But my luck in new games sucks, so I don't have that anymore. So I don't see shinies, but maybe once every few months. Go me. I also don't hunt as much as I used to, so that doesn't help. Archo says, what I love about 5 is how there's a really obvious hint about who the culprit is very early, just like 4. That you'll notice if you're very attentive, most people don't notice it. Again, just like 4. They did the same thing in 4. Zane, did you really? You found shiny Cresselia literally while we're sitting here. That's amazing. Speaking of amazing, I'd love to see a picture of that, but to do it, you've reminded me that I don't have my Discord link here. That is absolutely amazing, my friend. Shiny freaking Cresselia while we are sitting here live. Alright. Pin that up in the chat. Just because I realized I forgot to do it. Oh, Brilliant Diamond. I wish it would have been patched. Load a little faster. That would have been cool. Four was also a huge meme in the community. And, well, I mean, technically it's sort of a spoiler. The person you're thinking of was Persona 4. Which was also a meme because it's not exactly the biggest hint in the world. It's actually, if anything, I think it's not a big hint. I would say Persona 4 did not make a big hint at all about who the villain is. However, there's a shocking moment in gaming for you is when the villain of Persona 4 summons their persona against you, and you're like, whoa, wait, what? He's got one too? That, for me, was just like, whoa, wait, someone else has a persona? What the hell? And technically, he wasn't the final boss, but still. That was definitely a thing, put it that way. Alright, I'm gonna grab another bite of my rice. Give me 1 second. Alright. Just had to chew. I'm good. I would love to have another live shiny. I agree with you, Mia. My shinies rarely happen on stream, and it sucks. I wish that wasn't the case. I've had a few live ones, but not very often. Usually it's always off stream after the fact. Dialga was live. Ditto, that was a really cool one. Ditto, the live, that was 3 Dittos, all shiny. That was amazing. And that was live. I want to say Duraludon was not. There was a raid that was shiny. I don't remember when that was. It's been a while, though. In Sword, though. Technically, Rattata was shiny while I was recording Let's Go. That was a Nuzlocke, so I used the shiny rule, which was I stated that if it's shiny, I can use it in the Nuzlocke no matter what. So that was unexpectedly while recording, not shiny hunting that happened. Trying to think if I've had many more than that. Magmar was that was not live. Magmar was not live. Heatmore wasn't live. Aegislash wasn't live. Yeah, anything that was in Diamond wasn't live. So it's not many. And I don't stream that much, so, you know. It has been a while. Dialga was the last shiny I had live on stream, so I think we are overdue, my friends. Hey, Zorua! Welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you doing? This is not a Hisuian Zorua that had passed down its genes lineage for hundreds of years to get to the point where it can use Imposter and then become Darkrai. This is the real thing. No, if it wants to use Imposter and fake that it's shiny, at least I'll feel good at heart, even if it's not. Darkrai being my absolute favorite should definitely give me that luxury as being shiny live. I could switch over to double hunting, by the way. I didn't specify why or why not I did that. I didn't feel like double hunting today, which I don't really want to make a habit of double hunting in the sense that most streamers just use double hunting to get more clips out. I don't. I thought it was classy to hunt the same Pokemon in 2 different games that are remake, or one's a remake of the other one. But Giratina on Diamond is still an active hunt. For the 3rd Giratina, because apparently I can't get enough Giratinas. In fact, let me go bust Platinum out. We'll just make it 4 Giratinas. Zorua does not process. Brain, no compute. Interpretation unavailable. All I know is I'm going to have another bite of this rice. The fog isn't natural? Oh boy, Archo. Stay away from TVs and don't look for dead bodies. And then you should be totally fine. Everything will be okay. Oh, Darkrai. You're going to hold out for me like anything else. That's fine. Every 10 hours, I get 1,000 encounters in. So, you know, we got... I'll go another hour to an hour and a half, by the way. I said... Basically, I'm actually gauging it, so 8:30, somewhere in there. When the sun goes down, I'm done. Oh, the Junes song, man, that song. That song was annoying back in the day, though. And thanks to Persona 4, my innocence died the day I had to go into Kanji's dungeon to unlock Kanji in Kanji's persona. That was not exactly what I expected, let's say. Never gonna forget that one. Oh, everybody has said I need to get royal, man. I feel like I'll just eventually say, yeah, I'm gonna go for it and get royal. I didn't want to buy the same game twice, but I'm also hearing they did more voice acting and just a whole plethora of things have been added to Persona 5 Royal that were not in P5. So I guess I'll have to work on that. Pika, what's going on? Hi, bro. Hi, bro. Back. Pika Pika. How are you doing? Welcome to the crusade for my all-time favorite shiny, Darkrai. Hey, nice. Your crusade for the shiny god of time worked. Nicely done, my friend. Dialga is a gorgeous shiny. Palkia is, well, it's a shiny. Archo says they added new events, new semester, new place, new villain, new party member, new songs. Damn, I'm going to have to get Persona 5 Royal, aren't I? I almost feel offended that they even made Persona 5 without the Royal form. But I know several years passed between the two games, so I can't really complain. I just feel bad because I bought Persona 5 and didn't finish it. I always said I'm going to sit down and binge the hell out of this game someday. Never did. And now I'm in a position where I need to get another version of it. But I guess that's how the old school was. I mean, they could have added that in as DLC and didn't. They actually made a whole nother game and sold it as a whole nother game. So there's that. Ironically, you know, Persona 5 still has not made its way to the Nintendo Switch, even though Joker is in Smash. Even though there are other Persona games on the Switch, spin-offs of 5, Persona 5 itself is not on Switch. Unless that changed and I wasn't watching, but I'm 90% sure that it still hasn't made it yet. No shiny? No, not yet. You know my luck sucks in new games. In new games, my odds are about 1 in 10,000. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but that's what happens. Archo says, I don't think it would have worked as DLC. Well, that's true. They altered a lot of things. You're right, it wouldn't be a DLC. Almost be like they should have patched it. I don't know what they could have done. I mean, obviously, the choice they made was to sell a whole nother game, which, you know what, I'm glad when stuff like that happens, I suppose, where you take the quality of a game and you boost it up like that. But at the same time, I own Persona 5, so I feel salty now because the better game is Persona 5 Royal, and that means I'm buying the same game twice because I bought P5 and then Royal came out very shortly after it, actually. They teased it because they said P5R when they were teasing it before it actually was announced. Alright, give me 1 sec. All right, is it on? Yes, there it is. Just making sure the mic's registering. Actually, I should have put a Be Right Back screen on. I didn't. Could have done that. Chose not to. Even the casino scene at the start has a cool new fight scene. All right, well, I guess I'm convinced. I'm going to have to do this, aren't I? I am going to have to buy Persona 5 Royal and obsolete my Persona 5 copy. But I never opened that copy, so maybe I can still get some cash for it. I mean, I can't just hoard every game I have, right? I don't know. I don't see a reason to stay attached to it and keep it, but at the same time, I'd have a hard time letting games go anyway, so I pretty much, I still own, in fact, I don't think I've ever sold a game. I think I have all the games I've ever bought. I've never sold games. I've never gotten rid of them. Even games I know I'm never going to play again. I have 2 copies of Jak and Daxter, for instance, and I don't know. I just never get rid of them. I have 2 copies over there. Granted, not that that one's worth anything. They made 1 million of those. I mean, well, no, I take it back. They made a surplus of those. I don't know how many copies they made, but you get my point. I've never gotten rid of a game, so P5 will probably stay in plastic for another 10 years before I do anything. Archo says, people call Persona 5 pretty good, but call Royal one of the best games ever made. I can't believe they would do that. Like, what do you think drove that? Was it the popularity? Because I know Persona 3 was not particularly, how do you say it, popular, I guess. It wasn't mainstream. Persona 3 also had a very violent Persona summoning sequence, so I think that it was probably, frowned upon and shied away from. That's what I'm trying to say. Persona 4 was decently popular. Like, I wouldn't say that that's the point where it went mainstream, but Persona was certainly huge compared to everything before it, rather. Persona 4 was huge. Persona 5 is when it went mainstream. So the only reason that Persona 5 Royal exists, I would assume, is because after the popularity of 5, they decided to go overboard and make sure they made a perfect game. That meant adding content to their best Persona game, 5. So that's my hypothesis. Five was considered amazing until Royal dropped. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is 5 made Persona a mainstream series. And then when that happened, they said, all right, you know what? Let's take a second swing at this and make sure 5 is legendary. That is what I'm going to go with. Plus, I want to say Persona 4 was a PlayStation 2 game. So when 5 came out, I would say there was a lot of time that had passed. Almost 10 years, I would think. Probably, I would say, yeah, probably about 10 years passed between the 2 games existing. Persona 5 was, what, 2016, 2017? And Persona 4 was PlayStation 2, so I don't know what that would date it, but certainly 2005, 6, 7, somewhere in there. Persona got mainstreamed when Smash Bros. Added Joker. Did it, though? Because I remember hearing a lot about 5 before that. Although, yes, that was the point where it also exploded. I would think that the reason that Joker got in Smash was because Persona had gone mainstream. Let me check some dates here. I'm curious. Because, like I say, 5 was the first game they had come out with in quite some time. Persona 4... Oh, I was right. Persona 4 Golden. That's what that... the good copy, or the special edition copy of Persona 4 was called Persona 4 Golden, which I never played. 2008, so basically at the tail end of the PlayStation. The PlayStation 2. The 3 was right around the corner, only a couple years away. So, 2008, Persona 5 was released 2016. So, yeah, there was a solid 8 years between those 2 games. Persona basically had a comeback with 5, if you will. It was hibernating, it was dormant, we hadn't heard anything. Gregory, thank you so much for subscribing, my friend. That was badass. Skull Kid under Darkrai. That was really cool on the screen. Thank you for subscribing, my friend. I hope you always find this a place of good company and fun. Truly. You don't have to force yourself to come here. I hope I give you a reason to come back to this channel consistently. And even if you don't, you guys pop in once a year even, you know, we'll pick up where we left off. That's the beauty of this. That's what I have found. People that I don't see but maybe once every few months, it's like, hey, how you doing? Good to see you again. Archo says, most annoying mechanic in an amazing game? Swimming in anything on the Nintendo 64. Screw that. Pika Emmy says, bro, for having Shiny Mesprit, do I have to save in the lake or can I save in the route? All roamers have to be saved before you set them free. So, Cresselia or any of them, any roamers in any game, you have to save, set them free, go out, find them, and then you soft reset to before you released them. Cloister of Trials. Really? You didn't like the Cloister of Trials? I always thought it was kind of fun. Cloister of Trials. All right, so then let me ask you this, Archo. If you have not played Final Fantasy X, are you going to play Final Fantasy X2? Is that in your plans? You lost your shiny? Hey, we make the sacrifice. I gave up shiny Cresselia in this game to get to Darkrai. Unless I have one reset because I released Cresselia and then I never caught it. So, hey, maybe, you know, it'd be full odds. And also it'd be a kick in the mouth because I've been hunting it for 100,000 encounters for 15 years and I haven't caught Cresselia. But hey, you know, I never checked it, so when I released it to get to Darkrai, maybe Cresselia is shiny. All right. Then we will have to reconvene, Archo, at the point that you play X2. X2 was kind of controversial. I think it's just because they changed up the formula. But I love it. I think it is the perfect sequel. It's also the first time any Final Fantasy game got a direct sequel. Unless Final Fantasy X War of the Lions, if that was, I never played it, if that was a sequel to, I'm sorry, not X, sorry, start over, I misspoke, start over. Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, I believe is a direct sequel to Final Fantasy Tactics. If it's not, disregard everything I'm saying. That may have been the first sequel, technically. But the first true sequel to any Final Fantasy game was X2, the sequel to X. That was the first time they attempted that. 7 didn't. 7 got Advent Children, the movie, which was a sequel. Dirge of Cerberus, which was a sequel to Advent Children. Then Crisis Core and Before Crisis happened those were prequels. So that's really all there is. The only game that was a sequel to 7 was Dirge of Cerberus. Unless we're talking some spin-offs that I'm not aware of existing. I don't know of any spin-off games, but I mean, half the time it's like calling Dissidia a sequel when it's really not. Advent Children as a game in that would be really cool if they were to continue the story and go into Advent Children instead of retconning it and just saying Crisis Core and Advent Children, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they gave an interview, the Square Enix team, saying that they're not going to follow the Crisis Core lore or the Advent Children. None of that is going to be directly canonical in the remake, but they were going to take it into consideration, or whatever that meant. So, but either way, yeah, it'd be pretty cool to see Kadaj and the two other brothers. I don't remember their names, unfortunately. But that'd be really cool to kind of see that. But at the same time, I'm over here dying for Crisis Core, which is my #1 game. Crisis Core hit me harder than any game ever. And that game, if it were to just port it, I don't even need a remake or anything. Just port it right off my PSP onto the PS4 without jailbreaking and using custom software or emulation. Just give me the game. I want the true as blue game. That would be what I would love, and I'm waiting for. Unfortunately, now that I know the story, of course, I'll never have that feeling again like the first time. But oh my god, Crisis Core, that game, 10 out of 10 rating. The combat system actually wasn't exactly the greatest in the world. I was fine with it. It's just, it really wasn't the best. Like, on hard mode, Crisis Core, for a Final Fantasy game, not using the turn-based system, caused it to be you were either getting your butt whooped constantly or you were OP, and there was no in-between. Or there seemed to be no in-between anyways. But either way, if we were to get... So Crisis Core isn't going to happen on the remakes anyways, but if we were to get a little bit of the sequel and just dive into... Even Advent Children, no Dirge of Cerberus. Dirge of Cerberus actually, I think, got poor reviews, if I recall. At the time, people didn't like it. Although, there was a secret scene in that game that was pretty cool. But that game, actually, Dirge of Cerberus, was released before they came out with Crisis Core. Crisis Core being the prequel to 7. So there was some really cool stuff going on there at the time. And it also seemed like they wouldn't stop milking that franchise. And they still won't stop. Things don't change, right? But nonetheless... Raven. Good to see you, Raven. How you feeling? Whis and Nero, was that shown or did you just spoil me on that? I was just curious. No, that's good to hear, Raven. Raven, I feel like they were advertised in the trailer, then that's not a spoiler. But that is cool, though. I'm glad to see that Whis and Nero, or did they call him Weiss or Whis? I don't remember, honestly. Because it was voice acted. They said his name. I don't remember if it was Whis or Weiss. Let's just say... well, Archo, have you played Dirge of Cerberus? Do you know who I'm talking about? Whis, Nero, and then there's also one more. Either way, though, so I'm glad to see that they're doing that. I would love to see them go into that more, you know? You know who they are. Perfect. All right, so you know who the third one is, too. Yeah, that was good. Oh, Raven, what I was saying was I feel like I need to take your hand and guide you through Final Fantasy VIII. Because I know that you saw a lot of it, but I fear that you didn't get to see all the little details. I think you missed some of the stuff in there just because it hasn't been logged, it hasn't been documented, nobody recorded it. There's some really cool stuff in 8 that I fear that you didn't get a chance to see, and I feel like you should have seen it. It's something you would enjoy. Yeah, Genesis. So... granted, they did not stick with the original voice actor, which I guess I'm happy about because the original voice actor was actually a celebrity crush. Never use your celebrity crush as a damn voice actor. Nobody told the director of Dirge of Cerberus that, so they got Gact, who was a metal. Yeah, I think he's a metal. He was a metal musician in Japan. And they got him to voice, both in English and in Japanese, Genesis. Thankfully, they did not keep that voice when they went to Crisis Core, mainly because they couldn't get the guy back. But it was for the best, because the voice was not great. But nonetheless, yeah, Genesis. I know already Genesis does not make an appearance in Final Fantasy VII The Remake, Part 1. But if they put Genesis in there... And oh my god, I'll fangirl, man. I will straight up fangirl if they at some point in part 2 or part 3, walk into a scene or whatever, and all you hear is infinite in mystery is the gift of the goddess. I am immediately going to scream because I'll be like, oh my God, he's back. I really hope they do that. Whis is used as a super boss type thing in the combat simulator of the remake. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Whis and Nero. My brain. I haven't played Dirge in so long. Whis and Nero. They were actually really cool, and they were in Crisis Core, briefly, just for one scene, but still. Raven, you have no idea. It would be so insane if they bring Genesis back, because they never explained that. Genesis was not in Final Fantasy VII because they hadn't written him yet. They wrote him for Crisis Core, which occurs before 7. So the question is, what was he doing during the entire arc of Final Fantasy VII? And the answer could be in the remakes. But we have yet to see that. They haven't said anything about it. They haven't even said, technically, if they're going to bring Genesis and Gil, if any of those characters even exist. Cisne? We don't know. I just want to know what Cisne's name is, man. Project G was not Genesis, though. That was established before they wrote Genesis. Project G was Project Jillian. Sorry, Raven. We're going on FF7 lore here. Oh, Soldier Type G. Okay, maybe they did hint at Genesis then. I will have to wait and see, I guess. Soldier Type S was also mentioned. All right, so that'd be Sephiroth. The perfect soldier, my friends, will always be Zack. Zack had the highest integrity of any character across any Final Fantasy game. Zack is like one of the few fictional characters I think I take inspiration from. Dude, it's, without spoiling too much, Archo, or I shouldn't say for everybody else spoiling too much, I had a friend who played Crisis Core on stream, and he set himself up so bad. I was so flustered almost when he said it. I'm like, oh no, don't do this to yourself. When Cloud and Zack are trying to escape Shinra, he literally said, he goes, this is the part that doesn't make sense. And that's his voice even. And he goes, why would they think that going to Midgar was a good idea? You're trying to escape Shinra. He goes, why would he go to Midgar? It makes no sense. I'm like, oh, don't say that, man. Oh, you're going to kill yourself, man. This is gonna be the one. Well, yeah. What happened was he said that, like, why would they go back to Midgar when they're trying to escape Shinra? He did not know that Zack went back to Midgar because he was in love with Aerith. So when that happened, he felt awful, man. He cried. It brought him to tears when he finally realized what the answer was. I was like, don't do that to yourself. It's an emotional roller coaster, and you just put yourself at the top. Why would you do that to yourself? Oh, that was so bad. I couldn't believe that I'm like, don't think about that. That is not a question you want to ask, because the answer is heartbreaking, because he never makes it back to her. I'm like, he set himself up, man. That was bad. I can still go back to that stream and be like, why did you do that? Why would you ask the logic? Like, why would he go back to Midgar? You're just going to have your heart broken when you figure it out. I'm like, oh, that was such a bad setup. He buried himself. He was ready for his own heartbreak. Archa says, you remember in the Shinra building where you listen in on the Shinra meeting. I vaguely remember it. I think I do. That was, well, I mean, it had to be it was early in the game because you were still in Midgar. Final Fantasy VII, the remake, I don't even think you leave Midgar. I think the whole game literally occurs in Midgar. Raven says, I think Nito and Archo are two fans of the Final Fantasy. You guys both have a passion for it. You could say that, Raven. You could absolutely say that. And you know what? Raven, you have some exposure to Final Fantasy as well. So you're in there too. Type G and Type S are mentioned. Oh, dang. They're mentioned in the Shinra building. All right, don't tell me anything else. I'm going to hope that Type G is Genesis. Oh, man. I'm going to get spoiled. There's no way I'm not going to get spoiled on that. If they bring Genesis in on Part 2, holy crap. I know that Genesis is not in the original story, but it's not out of the question that they just simply deviate or add to the original story. I'm sure they did that. They had to have. They built a whole city in detail that you couldn't freely explore in the original game. So I'm sure that they add scenes and storyline that was not there in the original, which means they could absolutely put Genesis in there. Raven says, yeah, but I only like the romance parts, which I'm kind of disappointed about, sadly. Oh, Raven, that's why I want to re-show you Final Fantasy VIII, because the romance that's up front and in the center of that game is Squall and Rinoa. But the real, true, like, heartbreaking, like, you're connected emotionally and you're super invested actually happens behind the scenes with Laguna. That's the one I wanted you to see, is the story of Laguna. Do I remember Jessie? She's with Avalanche, I think, right? Yeah, unfortunately, Raven, it does not. I did scour YouTube. It doesn't seem that anybody's without their own commentary explaining the story anyways. Nobody put the cutscenes with no commentary of Laguna, unless you watch the whole game, basically. But nobody's boiled it down to only the Laguna scenes. So I guess, I don't know. I don't know how to, I guess I'll have to look. I'm sure somebody had to have done it. And that is, Archo, where Raven and I were discussing, because there's, I guess in the fandom, there's a kind of a debate, is who's better for Cloud, Tifa or Aerith? First off, Advent Children, you definitely know, like, that definitely tells me that Tifa's better for Cloud. But second off, Aerith was definitely for Zack. And that was so upfront, and even the voice actors had chemistry, I swear. The two characters were just so perfect together in Crisis Core. Well, the problem is that Laguna is not really a cutscene. It's like, well, it's dialogue. It's not a cutscene. Laguna's scenes are all dialogue. You follow Laguna as he is in Final Fantasy VIII. He is a member of the Galbadian army and then eventually leaves the army, and you follow him through all of that. But it's dialogue. It's not actually a cutscene. I'm sure it's out there, but I couldn't find it immediately. I saw people that had done commentary on who was Laguna and all this. They're actually, and I'm not going to spoil this for you, Raven, because I want you to see this at some point, but there's actually a small fan theory, because there's something they never said about Laguna that's heavily implied, but it was never said, and I'll tell you what it is after I find that. I'll find it for you. I just got to look. I know somebody must have done it. I suppose if I streamed more, it'd be kind of cool. In fact, that's kind of what I thought about with Twitch. Since we were talking about Twitch earlier, Taters mentioned that I have not streamed on Twitch. I had floated the idea that if I was going to stream on Twitch, I would do things I don't do on my channel, which would be long stuff like RPGs. That was actually one of my plans. I was like, well, if I ever go to Twitch to stream as well, it wouldn't be the same stuff that I do on YouTube. You know, it'd be kind of cool. Final Fantasy. So I would do that, but those games are very, very, very long, and I don't stream that much. So there'd just be no way. It wouldn't work. I'd have to stream a lot more. Archo says, I think Aerith is better for Cloud, honestly. Advent Children has some sweet moments between them. And the remake, well, I don't know about the remake. But certainly when it comes to the romance story, the one I was used to anyways, it should have been Aerith and Zack, which obviously didn't happen for obvious reasons. Because, you know, you kind of got to be alive to be in a romance, you know what I mean? Although I guess in Advent Children, Zack and Aerith are in communication with one another, let's say. Spoiler free, of course. Just in case Raven is keeping up with 7 and you haven't seen it all. I don't want to spoil anything. Oh yeah, taking a bite of my dinner. All right, done chewing. Yeah, Archo, something happened, all right. To be fair, the original scenes with Cloud and Aerith were made way before Crisis Core. So technically, anything they did in Crisis Core wasn't the original plan, if you will. Archo says, I then went to the Temple of the Ancients, and then the Kate Sith moment where he predicted them being perfect with each other, and I just knew they were in love. And then it worked out, and everything went on happily ever after. You are right, Raven. Romance is different for everybody. Especially for a bunch of fans that are shipping certain characters within a fictional universe. They all have different opinions. Hey, I was trying to keep that spoiler free. Raven hasn't played 7. I would delete the comment, but Raven can see deleted comments. She's all powerful. Yeah, there's I will admit though, there's people that would they would fix all of that, if you will, by simply saying that Zack was better off with Cisne. Can't agree with that one necessarily, but if that's how they want to go, you know, be like, okay, Aerith goes with Cloud, Cisne goes with Zack. I also hope that they don't just abandon Cisne. especially if they're hinting that they're going to bring characters from Crisis Core back, and if they outright brought characters back from Dirge of Cerberus, which technically Whis and Nero are also Crisis Core characters, just cameo, if you will. Raven says, is okay, Nito. I seen the cutscenes and movie, no commentary for the remake and original. Really? For 7 or... Yeah, for 7. I have not seen anything of the Final Fantasy VII remake. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say, unless it's going to take them 15 years to do it, I'm going to try and play 7 remake, all 3 parts, one after another. So I'm going to keep myself in the dark. Hard to do, but I'm going to do it. The real lover out here is Jenova. Have you seen Jenova? She's got rockin' bod, and she's got her own little tank of goo, and she's got a really good head on her shoulders. So, but Jenova we never see her with anybody. She might be available. I didn't know you watched all of it, Raven, so you're already aware of certain events that occur in that game. I did not know that. I didn't realize you had watched all of it at that point. Alright, so Raven, what's up next for you is definitely Final Fantasy X. Well, no, it's 8. You gotta see the Laguna dialogue first. We'll get you there, get that done, and then we'll get you on to 10. 10 is a love story also. That's alright. At least I know you've seen it. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to count down here a little after 8, so maybe 8 to 8:10 somewhere. So basically 20 more minutes to 25 more minutes, and then I will go ahead and call it a stream for the night. Archo says, I don't really like all the shipping, but I'll be happy hoping that something happens between Cloud and Aerith in Part 2. 10 is all about Tidus and Yuna. I was going to say, I would imagine that Raven has seen Yuna before and Tidus, and you are familiar with the two of them. I remember when 10 came out, a lot of history gets lost. 10 is looked upon now as one of the most gorgeous Final Fantasy games, and everybody loves it. What people don't remember is that 10 actually got a lot of criticism when it came out. When that game was new, there was a large crowd, I remember, that did not like a few things that were in the game. Like, it was a very linear game. People didn't like that. They felt like they were a bystander in a story going from one area to the next rather than an open map. And people didn't like that the map was not open. People didn't like Tidus. He was looked upon, like, a lot of people thought he was kind of a whiny crybaby. Now that's considered a legendary love story. But back then, there's a lot of people I remember that had a lot of criticisms for it. Raven says, 1,000 Words by Jade is my favorite Final Fantasy song only because Jade is one of my favorite singers. 1,000 Words. You'll have to remind me which one that is. I can't remember. This scene shows up in the trailers. What's that? I'm gonna guess either the sending, Yuna's first sending. That cutscene is like over the top gorgeous, or the two of them by the tree at Macalania Woods. I had to remember the name of it. The camera angles in the cutscenes, during the cutscenes and dialogue. I had no problems with the dialogue. I thought the voice acting was actually pretty good. It was kind of funny to see how many voice actors they had. 10 brought a ton of voices from other stuff, like a ton of anime voices. They also brought, like, you'll hear Robin's voice actor from Teen Titans does a ton of characters in X, or actually I shouldn't say a ton, but a decent amount. But there are just a ton of anime voices from that era in 10. Like, they had a huge voice acting cast, a ton of cameos. It was a hell of a project. I appreciate that, Raven. I absolutely appreciate that you keep me on track. Waka's voice actor is, oh, crap. He's like one of the most famous voice actors. He just re-signed for Bender in Futurama. He is playing the king in Disenchantment. Oh, he's extremely well known. I can't remember his name. Yeah, well, both of them, actually. So the original Teen Titans as well as Teen Titans Go, Robin plays Robin in both, or the guy plays Robin in both of them. He also played a number of voices in Final Fantasy X, and he's also in, like, he used to throw his voice around in a ton of series. The only problem I've got is that he uses the same voice for everything he does. So Robin's voice is literally in Final Fantasy X. It's in Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's in Tales of Symphonia. Same voice. It's literally just Robin's voice in a different franchise. It's the only problem I had with him. But yeah, they had an absolute star cast of voice actors. Archo says, I feel like Raven is missing out, only focusing on the romance. Well, romance is her forte. That's her thing. And Final Fantasy delivers. Well, it delivers in my mind. Apparently, Raven thought it was kind of lackluster. Kidding, Raven. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Archo says the action scenes, absolutely. As a kid, that's what I lived for. I mean, Final Fantasy VIII, the ending meant very little to me as a kid. I replayed it recently, and it got some tears flowing there. I was, I could feel myself kind of get a little emotional over that one. I was like, wow, I didn't realize how emotional. 8 has, the ending is just a smack in the face of emotions. I did not realize it was going to be like that, because I hadn't beaten the game in like 18 years. So when I did it again, I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm like, this one's tough. I don't remember any of this. Raven says, if you want Archo, I will rewatch the movie cutscenes, but I just don't like... Oh, yeah, speaking of which, I wanted you to... Well, Raven, I recommend, since Advent Children was a sequel to Final Fantasy VII, and it is a movie, that it'd be perfect for you. That said, it's mostly action, though. I actually remember when Advent Children came out, there was a large crowd of people that were just kind of thinking it was a fan service, which it was. It really was, but either way, they were mad because it was a fan service. Taking a bite of my rice. You can hear my fork. For my sake and yours, I say we deserve an early shiny. I'm still in the low 1K. For once, game, I would love an early shiny. Dialga was not so bad at, like, I don't know, I think 2200 was about where Dialga fell. And Giratina was just rude. It's because of this kind of crappy luck that I have 2 shinies in this game 6 months after it came out. Because this game is freaking rude. Speaking of rude, the wind just picked up. I had a windstorm today. It sucked. I feel Raven, our luck is going to come back. I'm also mixing this hunt up with the Shaman hunt. So, Raven, I will be going back to Shaman. I won't just be staying at Darkrai all day. And that one, we will have luck. Yeah, it's like, it's punishing me. It's like, for having 500 shinies, it's like, no, you got too many, man. You need to start earning some of these. How many people play Pokemon and never find a full odds shiny ever? In almost every single game, I was finding one on my normal playthrough. I'm getting punished for all that now. The universe is now paying me back via crappy luck in the new games. And I know it's crappy luck because I found a full odds Gloom doing random encounters in Diamond right before Brilliant Diamond came out, and literally days before Brilliant Diamond came out, I found a nearly full odds shiny Graveler. Or no, I take it back. No, that was full odds Graveler. I'm sorry. I was hunting something else, and I ran across the Graveler, and I was like, oh shit, it's a Graveler. So that proves to me that in the old games, because I literally had 2 full odds shinies at half the odds they are now within a couple months of each other, within a month. Hence the Bellossom and the Golem I have now. Those both happened in the old game. In this thing, I gotta work for it. I unfortunately get to really work for every single shiny in this game. Or any of the new ones. I mean, look at Sword. I've got a number of shinies in Sword now, I guess, but it takes freaking forever to get anything to spawn in Sword for me, shiny. Archo, that's why I have a video. Granted, I couldn't record it while it was happening, but I took pictures of it. I didn't have the DS hooked up when I encountered the thing because I wasn't ready for it. But I have a video that came out for that shiny Graveler. I released that video days before Brilliant Diamond came out, showing what happened with Graveler. Now, the one you really want to watch out for is Wheezing when it comes to self-destructors, because Wheezing is dangerous. Oh, I guess I've officially gone for 2 hours because the sun came out in game. Yeah, but I wasn't hunting it. That's the big problem. Graveler showed up on its own. I was not hunting that thing. But the good news is, I'm always prepared. However, my preparation would not work against a Wheezing, because it'd have neutralizing gas, so my almighty backup plan wouldn't work. I have not read the Final Fantasy VII books. That's also been kind of a on-the-shelf thing that I always thought I'd get back to. along with the Zelda manga, several comics I have for Star Wars, and Splatoon the manga, Final Fantasy VII the books. I thought that'd be really cool to read as well. All these things have not happened. All right, give me 1 sec. I'm actually going to just briefly step away for just a moment and get some water. So I'll be right back. Mic check, we're good. Thank you for waiting, Raven. Alright, let's go. 15 more encounters. Starting the countdown right now. 15 more encounters. Number 1, here we go. Roll the dice 15 more times and see if we can make this happen. That's number 1. We got 14 more to go. Raven, I hope your night has been pleasant. I'm going to make myself some tropical tea. Drop a little honey into it. No, Archo, I definitely am convinced. I need to read the books for sure. It's been something that I've thought about for a while. I just haven't gotten to it. There's so much crap I haven't gotten to. Heck yeah. Tea buddies, Raven. Pour you some hot tea. Take a small spoon and mix in that honey. Dissolve it in nice and sip it. Enjoy it. That's what we're going to do. The countdown begins, and we are now at 2. On a way to a smile before. All right, you said before, short stories to show what everyone's up to. Aerith in the live stream, well, yeah, she's not doing much. She's just hanging out. It shows what happens between Final Fantasy VII and Advent Children. Huh. I can go for that for sure. Absolutely, yeah. That'd be something really cool to see. Because you're right. Tifa and Cloud kind of had a small falling out, is that the right word for it? By the time they got to Advent Children, so that was another weird thing, by the way, Raven. They made 2 Advent Childrens. It's the same movie, it's just they redid it. They made Advent Children, and then they made Advent Children Complete. Alright, there's 3. Tifa found out that it's hard to live with your emo anime boy. I'm kidding, of course. Cloud has been through a ton. He's nothing short of emotionally traumatized, and while he may have saved the Earth, that does not mean that he can save himself as easily. He also got a little rusty. And Kadaj is a dick, man. He knocked over the Buster Sword. When he's on his motorcycle in Advent Children, that was uncalled for. That was rude and uncalled for. Number 4, here we go. Tifa got a bit jealous of Aerith as Cloud was always visiting the church, and he even got, number 4 is a bust, got a delivery request from Elmira, and he had to go back to her grave. Sir Lord Chimchar the Great says, "Hi, I'm new. First stream of yours. Sir Lord Chimchar the Great, welcome to my stream. Although I am going to go for only 10 more encounters for the night, I welcome you back anytime you want to come by. It's a pleasure to meet you. How are you doing, my friend?" I'm shiny hunting my all-time favorite shiny, but you can see that right on the overlay. I admitted it before Brilliant Diamond came out, but it took me a while to get there. I had to decide what my favorite shiny was. So when I went back in my mind, I'm an old shiny hunter. I'm not old person. I'm just saying, like, I've been shiny hunting for 2 decades. So for me, this is revisiting the past. Except this time, I didn't have to cheat to get here. Or not cheat, but glitch. The last time I did this hunt, I had to use the Dark Void blipping glitch in Diamond. And that was not a fun time. That was very scary. Number 6. Magical Raven says, maybe living apart can help Tifa and Cloud in their future. Who knows? I'm just saying sometimes people in love just need a break from each other. Everybody needs their own space sometimes. We're social creatures, but you know, sometimes you just need yourself. To be honest, the day could have gone way better. How about you? My day was well. I get what you're saying, though, unfortunately, because I went through, in the last few weeks, just one thing after another after another. It was frustrating. I was getting frustrated at life. I wrote Raven's name on the Shaman Rock because of how much she was there for me while I was just getting punched one after another by life right in the jaw. So it's not always pleasant, but you know what? I always look at things in a way where I say, am I going to care about what's happening right now in 6 months? Am I going to care in a year? Am I going to care in 5 years? Thank you, my friend, very much for subscribing. I really do appreciate it. I hope that this is always a place where you find good company. I have not shiny hunted Arceus yet. Shaman and Darkrai are up on the bubble right now, and then Arceus will come after that. Unfortunately for me, I don't spend a whole lot of time shiny hunting nowadays, and Giratina took me 14,000 encounters, so he delayed everything. It was really, really nice of Giratina to help me out by making me hunt for 3 months for it. And then I'm dumb enough to go for my 3rd shiny Giratina. So, long story short is I have Diamond version that occasionally I stream as well, and I'm hunting Giratina. I was doing Giratina in both games at the same time. I got it finally in Brilliant Diamond, so now it's just back to Diamond for Giratina number 3. But so far, I mean, you can see how many Pokemon I've caught in the game total. That's all I've got. That's my entire roster. But these are the 2 that took, well, that one didn't take so long, I suppose. That was like 3 days. That was 3 months, so didn't appreciate that, Giratina. So we're building it up. Building up the old club like I had back in the day. Archo says he found Denzel outside her church, and he saw him as some kind of blessing from Aerith and a shot at redemption. Poor Tifa, honestly. Cloud was always visiting the church before he left. Geostigma was like the nail in the coffin for him. Well, good thing he got rid of the Geostigma, I suppose, right? Everything's gonna be alright. Or no, I'm sorry. Everything's alright. Sir Lord Chimchar says, I'm taking a break from Arceus to do Darkrai, and then I'll have a sleep move for Arceus. It's a good move. I actually agree with that 100%. So instead of using my almighty strategy for the almighty, using Dark Void would be a much more efficient way to do that. So that's a good plan. Raven says, that's sweet of you, Nito. I'm glad to be a great friend to you. A friend to you. And I'm glad to have you, Raven. I really am. I appreciate you a lot. That was encounter number 7. At 15, I'm going to call it a stream, and it's been a pleasure, especially to talk to you guys about a lot of Final Fantasy tonight. That was really cool. Archo and I could sit here talking about Final Fantasy for a few decades, but... Oh, Giratina was fussy, that's for sure. This Darkrai does come with Hypnosis right away, but yeah, if you level it up, I think it's level... What is this? This is level 50 right now, right? So he only needs 10 more levels, and he can be, or he can get Dark Void, so... Besides that, I mean, he probably wouldn't even stand a chance. You gotta level it up if you're even gonna hold your own against, Arceus. Here's number 8. Yeah, I remember people used to get pretty pissed. I was one of the first batch to come up with the brilliant idea of using Sketch on Dark Void. By the way, does anybody know, is Dark Void still nerfed in this game, or is it back to its original version? Okay, so it's nerfed. All right. Yeah, never mind. They nerfed it. I'm sorry. I'm used to the original Dark Void, guys. The original Dark Void, well, that was just a trip. But they nerfed it because they caught on to what people were doing, so... Which, yeah, was Dark Void OP? Was it broken? Yeah, I mean, maybe. It was Darkrai's not the fastest Pokemon in the world, so it's not like it was just instant. Well, yeah, it was. Okay, it was. It might have been a little broken. But obviously they have kept the new mechanics for it, which, by the way, I did not know it was 50%. Dark Void, I thought, got nerfed to like 75% maybe. I can't believe it's down to 50. It's actually, at that point, why even have the move? It kind of sucks now. But at least I'll always remember my original version. I'll never forget the original Dark Void. All right, here's encounter number 8 is where we're at? Yeah, 8. Did I lose count? No, we're at 8, and it's a bust. Next. Sleep raises chances for capture more than paralysis. Absolutely. I was using Chimecho to put things to sleep. So, but obviously, Chimecho actually, yeah, I guess Yawn is still a pretty viable option because, I mean, if Dark Void's going to be at 50%, then yeah, you might as well just go with my strategy. Sea Salt, what's up? Welcome back. I'm going for, if we're at encounter number 9. I thought we already did 8. I think we're at 9 now. So here's 9, which means 6 more encounters after this, and then I'm calling it a night, guys. So I thank you for your time. It's been great company having you guys. So here's number 9. We're going to 15. All right, Sir Lord Chimchar says insanity is the same thing, or defined as doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, when you put it that way, you know, I know that 1 in every 4,000 on average are going to shine a different color. So that's why, you know, I know if it were shiny locked and I'm like, no, I can beat the shiny lock, then I'd be insane. Here's number 10. Well, technically the stats are re-rolling, yeah, but I still kind of go by my old mantra. Back when I was competitive and went to tournaments and such, I always said, no, keep your shinies out of VGC. That was what I used to say. I'm not that much of a jerk anymore. I used to be... I sucked, man. I was really a jerk back then. But either way, I'm still on that mantra for myself. Is I don't use my shinies to shiny hunt unless the stats don't matter. I'm just aiming for the move. Or I'm competing, which I retired. So, but either way, in both of those scenarios, I never use the shinies for that anyways. So my eyes are open for one thing only, and that's the color difference. Technically, in the older games, now that we know RNG manipulation, which I refuse to use, you could get a perfect IV, correct nature, and shiny all in the same thing. But if you're going to RNG manipulate, my mantra is, why am I even hunting? Here's number 11. Shiny Cresselia? That must be nice. I wouldn't know. 100,000 encounters, and I still can't get one. I actually do wonder what the number's at. All right, 11's a bust. 4 more to go, my friends. 4 more to go. This game has that. Got to use blinks and... does it still have... Dude, I thought when they went to X or Shift 128, I thought maybe... I was hoping, I guess, that that they didn't have RNG manipulation as easily anymore. That's just... I don't know. Trust me, there's no lack of talent there if you can do RNG manipulation, but why bother? What's the satisfaction of saying it's like the action replay to an extent? It's like, hey, I did it. I got the shiny because I got it to work, man. I got my homebrew working. I got my action replays on the older systems. Like, I'm not a fan. But I don't care if people do that for shiny hunting, I suppose. It's not a problem. But, I don't know. I guess I hope this game would get rid of that, but still. Number 12 is a bust. RNG for the shiny, though. Yeah, they had the random number generator. They went to X or Shift 128 for the RNG. And I hoped that was a sophisticated enough RNG that there wouldn't be a whole abundance of manipulation. But obviously, I was wrong. Oh, well. Doesn't affect me. I'm just going to sit here and looking for my god. Or actually, I'm sorry, he's not a god. My nightmare embodiment. 3 more. Thank you, Raven. Raven's keeping me on track here. So, 3 more to go after this. Well, I should say with this one included right now. So here is number 12. Or no, 13 rather. This is number 13. I'm sorry. 13 is a bust. We got 2 more to go, my friends. 2 more to go. I thank you all for your time. I hope you had a good time. I loved the chats. It was a great conversation. Love talking Final Fantasy. Archo, I'm definitely going to be waiting to see what you think of X2. Well, first, the ending of X, but then X2. Especially considering that X2 was more controversial, I would say, than anything else. So I'm curious what your take is. I loved X2. I'm on that side of the fence where I think X2 was the perfect Final Fantasy sequel. But, oh, heck yeah, Mia. Can we end this off with a shiny? I will say this right now. When Dialga shined, Raven said, I give you my magical luck, and I literally said, I'll go one more encounter, and it shined on the very last encounter. So, since that happened, anything is possible, guys. Anything is possible. Raven showed off her magical abilities in front of hundreds of people right there and then. That was amazing. The world knew right there and then what Raven was capable of. All right, that was the second to last one. That's number 14. Here's number 15. You're right, Archo. The superstitions of shiny hunters. Every now and then I let the RNG scroll a little more, although, speaking of RNG, Exer Shift, which is the RNG for this one, the game clock, as well as time since boot, both are effective in the calculation. So technically, I don't have to allow a certain amount of time to pass, but occasionally I like to not click it as fast as possible. I let the timer run a little bit for that time since boot, run a couple circles around him, and do the encounter. Here we go, the final encounter, my friends. Darkrai. Show me what you got. It's a bust. Wah, wah. Oh, well, guys. So we tried it. Sea Salt says, Shine, Lucario Shine, or Esper Wailord. This is at the Dark Dude. That's what they call him, Dark Dude. All right, guys. What else can I say? It has been a pleasure. It has been fun. As always, I had a great time. So, you know what? No shiny this stream. That's all right. Still working on this hunt. Still working on the Shaman hunt. Those two are done before I go to Arceus. We're going to knock out all of them. So thank you for joining me tonight, guys. It seriously was nice. Raven, thank you for being here. I'm going to hit up that glass of tea now, or that cup of tea. Otherwise, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun. Humble and proud. I am Nito Marquis. And shop's closed, guys. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. Out. I'll catch you guys on the next stream. Thank you so much for attending. Guys, it was fun. Take care. I said, take care. Come on, stream. Are you going to end, or why are we not working here? What's the button's broken? Bye, Lexi. It was a pleasure. Glad to see you. I can't shut the stream off. I'm trying.